doing? So when I think of the western suburbs of Chicago, I immediately think of Kristen Jungles, who services the area of Naperville. Hey, Kristen, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for talking with us today. We're going to learn a lot about your area, and I'm really excited. So, first, if you don't mind, can you tell us just about about yourself, and then tell us how you got into real estate and, a little bit about your family?
Sure. My name's Kristen Jungles. Like you mentioned, I'm in Naperville, Illinois. So we're located just west of Chicago. I'm married to my husband, Kevin. We've been together 32 years this summer, which is crazy. And I have two boys. Well, they're adults, but Brett is going to be 30 this year. He lives in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. And my son Trevor is 27. He lives in Lincoln Park in downtown in the city. Absolutely love and adore them. They're my favorite people. I got into real estate when I was staying home as a stay-at-home mom with the boys, actually in 2006. I only got my license to buy and sell for Kevin and I. So we did flips and we put up a couple of custom homes in downtown Naperville and then 2009 hit, and everything we had was tied to real estate. So I had to go get a job. And I actually got a job as a lobbyist for the Illinois Realtors. So I put my real estate license into the holding company and I lobbied on private property rights and home ownership and things like that. And it wasn't until about 7 or 8 years ago where I took my license out of the holding company and decided that I wanted to do real estate full time. So that brings me to now.
Oh my goodness, that is so fascinating because when a lot of us look at you, you are just such an amazing agent with a large team, and we just look up to you. So that is so awesome to hear your background story. So you serve Naperville, you live there, and can you tell us just a little bit about the area?
Yeah, and I will tell you, as far as the team is concerned, I'm the only salesperson. So,
Oh,
which a lot of people don't know. So I have an
right.
incredible admin team. So I have three admins, and it's me. So, and then I have a showing partner. So we are a small but mighty team, and I just hire people that are experts at what they do. Which works out really well. But a little bit about Naperville. So we are one of the third largest city in the state of Illinois. We have
Mm.
150,000 plus people in our town. So I mean, it's so big that we have six high schools. So it's a really, really big town. I know.
Wow.
And my boys are fourth generation Naperville. So we've been in town a really long time. I like to say three generations of realtors because um, my mother-in-law had her real estate license. Wasn't very active, but bought and sold for friends. And then myself and then my son Trevor got his real estate license about a year ago to be a showing partner on our team. But the town itself is it has a very small town feel, but with all of the large amenities close by.
Okay, okay. So you've been in Naperville for quite some time. Um, you said did you say four generations?
Correct? Yeah, my kids
Yes.
are the fourth generation to be in
I
town.
love that. I love that. And so you're very involved with your community. And I think, were you a veteran? Is that correct?
I am. So I'm an Army veteran. When we had, when we talk about like the things that we love to do in town, I love at home, I love gardening, I love playing golf, but one of the things I'm most passionate about is giving back to our town. I've raised the boys to know that you just can't live here. You have to give back. And one of the areas that I love to give back is in our veteran community. So I'm very involved with our local VFW post. So I'm a member of the American Legion through my service and in the Army. And then I'm a member of the auxiliary of our VFW through my dad's service in the military. But that is one place where we are always doing fundraisers there, hanging out with the veterans and giving back in that way for sure.
Yeah, I see you're always involved in the community like that and, helping others. And that's so amazing. So that's probably one sector of business that you handle. I'm sure you work with a lot of people who with VA loans. Is that right?
Yep, we do help people with their VA loans. And I would say, I mean, it is a portion of my business. If I look at my business overall, I also, because of my background in new construction and flipping houses, I do have a custom home builder that I work with as well. So that's probably about 25% of our business, and then about 75% of our business is buying and selling and working with investors.
Okay, because I do have some questions kind of about investors and also about new construction. So, in Indianapolis, and Indiana and Illinois are similar in many ways. We're here in the Midwest. We have a ton of new construction in our suburbs. A lot of these new construction neighborhoods are focused on downsizers. So, some people who are, downsizing and wanting to go to these communities where they have low maintenance lifestyle, patio homes, and things like that. Are you seeing a lot of those being built in your area?
Yeah, we are seeing that too. So not as much in Naperville. Naperville itself is pretty developed, and there is some new construction, but it's not catering to a lot of people that are downsizing. Although there are a lot of people in the area that want to stay in place, right? That their kids have
Mhm.
chosen to live here as well. And so when I look at the areas I serve, Naperville is in DuPage County, and then the counties around us are Will County, Kendall County, and Kane County. So it would be like the areas of like Plainfield, St. Charles, and then Oswego. We build a lot of houses in Oswego because the land prices are a lot less, and we do a lot of ranch houses. So it's those people that have decided that they want to stay in this area, but they want to have their next house be a house that they can stay in place. And so I just met with someone this morning to build a new ranch for them. So that's pretty popular around here is how can we accommodate the people that love the area, want to stay, but are going to need to make sure that their primary bedroom and the laundry and everything is on the same floor.
Exactly. I feel like, and everyone knows that this is such a huge population of people who are retiring, downsizing, looking for that master on the main, if you will. And so these communities make a lot of sense. Although they are building quite a few in our area, I still feel like there's still such a need. We need more. So it's good to know that they're building in your area, developing some of those. As far as investors go, so can you tell me, first of all, what industries are in your area? Do you have any big industries that people would move to your area for?
Yeah, so I would say the two largest industries or the largest employers in our area are education and healthcare.
Mhm.
So, I mean, with the size of our town being 150,000 plus, and having, six high schools, we also we have Northern Illinois University, we have North Central College, we have Benedictine University. So we have a lot of hubs of either the main campus for colleges or Northern Illinois University is in DeKalb, but they also have a campus that's right down the street from me here. So education is pretty, one of the largest employers. And then we look at healthcare. So right in Naperville, we have the Edward Healthcare System, and they have there a cancer care center, a cardiovascular center. Like people don't have to go into Chicago. Yes, there are specialists at like Northwestern and other healthcare providers, but you really don't need to leave the western suburbs if because you can find that same quality of care here. So those are pretty big employers here. And then there's others like, that are in more like Nicor or ComEd, those companies. Like those are larger companies that are here too. But for the most part, the biggest employers are education and healthcare here.
Okay, so with education, with healthcare, I feel like that would open up opportunities for investors. For example, you may have a lot of traveling nurses that come to your area, or maybe you have a lot of students who need housing, and maybe not directly in Naperville, but maybe even our surrounding areas. So, as far as investors go, since that is a portion of your business, are there opportunities in your area for them to come invest?
Yes, you're absolutely right about that. There's a lot of opportunity there for investors. So I work directly have owned them and worked directly with investors that own properties that rent to students that are athletes at North Central College, right? And it works out really well with investors because very often if you have a bunch of the soccer players staying at the same house as they graduate and move on from North Central College, they invite that next group of college athletes to come in at the properties
Mhm.
that we have that are near to downtown. So that's a great place for investors as well. And because our schools are so highly rated in Naperville, we get a lot of people that want to invest here because people are drawn out of the city into Naperville specifically so that their kids could attend Naperville schools. So you have people that invest here as well as investors look for properties mainly along the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad comes out from Chicago west, goes through Naperville all the way out to Aurora, the next town over. And that those rail systems, like there are good opportunities to be able to buy along there for townhome communities that are built up because it's, if you don't have a large HOA on there, you're going to get people that are trying out living here in the suburbs when they're making that transition from moving out from the city.
Okay, that makes sense. So, as far as investors go, where are you seeing investors coming in from? All over, of course, but is there a certain area of the country where they are flocking to your area to do investing?
Most of our investors are coming from within the community. So they have either raised their kids here and they know that they're going to be staying, but they will either keep their own property as investments and then buy up other properties that are in the subdivisions that they live within because they know that rental rates here go pretty high. So we are a little bit higher than other areas, not as high as Chicago, but because there's so few rentals available, you could get a pretty good ROI on a property on a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home that you own here in Naperville. So I think that a lot of our investors just come from within. So we don't necessarily see as many as people as might go to like buying in South Carolina or you're buying in Florida or buying in Tulsa, like other areas. So we don't see that they're flocking to our neighborhoods for that, but we do see them come from within the Chicagoland area for sure.
Okay. Well, at a certain point in time, we were seeing lots of people, of course, because it's cheaper in the Midwest, coming from, California, and we still do see that places that are very expensive where they can get a good deal. Um, you know, if someone was living in the city, say someone was living downtown Chicago and they are ready for a more suburban life, do you see people coming out west to your area and maybe once they're wanting to start a family or something like that?
All the time. So, and usually what triggers it for them is not a change of employment. It's often that they are now married, they have their first child, they're starting to think about where they want to settle for kindergarten for their for their younger kids, and that's when they're making the move. So I would say the demographic that's moving out here is anywhere from like 28 up to like 38. Those people are moving out to the suburbs. So they may have gone to school out here, either Naperville or surrounding cities, gone to school out here, love the area, and know that they want to come back and they want to raise their family here. So, because in addition to our schools, like our park district system is incredible, our forest preserve is amazing. Like there's so many amenities that are right nearby that and very often restaurants from the Chicagoland area are in our downtown. So like they do kind of like in your area, like what you see maybe in Fishers, like that area, like you start to see them duplicated out here. So
Mhm.
they get all of the city amenities, but the smaller town feel. So yes, we
Yeah.
do see them out here.
Well, and of course, in the Midwest, I know I love eating. So, of course, that's an amazing thing if they have some great restaurants out where you are. And I was going to ask you, what other things, yes, you guys have some parks out there, but what if someone was thinking of investing or moving over there? You have parks, you have outdoor activities, restaurants. What else do you have that people would love?
Yeah, so I mean, in the summer, we have as many festivals and concerts as they do, hosting down at Soldier Field in Chicago, right? So we have venues out in the suburbs for that too, where smaller venues for music, if you like that, outdoor entertainment. There's theater out here. So you have those kind of cultural things that you could do, as well as, in Naperville, years ago, they developed somebody that lives in Naperville had gone down to San Antonio and saw the Riverwalk. They've
Mm.
recreated that here in Naperville. So we have a
Oh,
beautiful Riverwalk that's along the DuPage River, and you'll always see families out there walking. They have story time out, in certain parts of the parks and things like that. So, additionally, we have, if people want to compete, we have marathons that are hosted in our town that people come from all over the place. There's a 5K that's done in November and I mean they had said that there are all states have at one point been represented, and people come internationally to like run races here. So it's a fast, flat race. So you could do that in Chicago, or you could do that right here in Naperville too. So there's a lot of there's something, I would say there's something for everybody.
okay. Well, if someone is thinking about coming to your area, it sounds really nice and exciting, and I need to make a trip there. I've never been, to be honest
Yes.
with you.
Please
Um,
visit. You are welcome. I'll tour you around.
I would love to. But if someone is thinking about moving there or investing or retiring, tell us just real quick, what is the market like right now? Are there good opportunities in general overall right now?
Yeah, so I would say right now in Naperville, we're in a seller's market. So we have less than 2 months supply of inventory. So we are seeing, the homes that I've listed over the last month, they've mostly gone in multiple offers, right? So I would say to somebody that's relocating to the area to make sure that they're prepared. Like you need to be ready to jump on a property. It's gone are the days right now where you could come in casually, tour the neighborhood for, all the neighborhoods for a weekend, leave and think about a house that you just saw over the
Mhm.
weekend. That property is not going to be there. So I would say the buyers here that are coming into town need to be ready. So, and they need to be educated on what can make them, how strategically can we be competitive on making an offer in this tight inventory market. So it's why a lot of people end up doing new construction, right? Because then they don't have to compete and they get exactly what they want. They may not new construction. We have some new builds in Naperville, both custom and semi-custom. So there are options at all the different price points that somebody was going to be looking at. So first I would tell them to be prepared and just know what are the most important things to them. If I had a list of a top 10 things, what are the six or seven that we need to make sure that we hit? And then what are some of the others, maybe cosmetic, that we might be able to do later? Because I have a pretty long list of resources that are available. So if you don't like the kitchen, we could redo a kitchen, right? So it's just knowing what's going to be most important for you and making it so that that transition to moving here is as seamless as possible. And if they have kids, if someone's moving here with kids, I actually did an event last night with our school district. We did it for realtors so that realtors understand what do they need to understand about signing up, registering their kids here. So whether it's the gifted program or a special needs program, like how can we make that transition as seamless as possible? So exploring what's most important to you is first, and then we can dive into what type of feel do you think is best that you're looking for in the subdivision or our immediate downtown.
Okay. Well, with all that being said, what is the median price that people can expect?
Right now in Naperville, it's anywhere from 475 to 500.
Okay.
It of course that fluctuates, and these multiple offers are driving up prices just a bit. But I would say we do still cater to a first-time home buyer, a downsizer, or someone that's looking to the luxury market. I mean, there's homes in Naperville that are listed for, 9 million, right? So it does not as many because our luxury market has slowed down a bit, but I mean, but we sell anything from $150,000 house up to 1.7 million in town. So there is something for everybody.
Okay, good to know because yes, when you get to a price point 475, 500, that can be difficult for first-time home buyers. So it's good to know that there are other options. I'm sure they're building a lot of those townhome communities, maybe not in Naperville, but around, and those are always good options. And I'm sure you have a lot of those different areas, right?
Oh yeah. So there's a lot of there are a lot of townhome communities that have gone up they're in Aurora, they're in Lisle, we have them in Wheaton and Warrenville. We have some in Naperville. They're a little bit more established so that in our town, but there are definitely townhome options for people too. So as you're making that transition from a condo in the city, you may not necessarily want to have a single family home where you're mowing the grass on the weekends, right? And so we do have some townhome communities too that would cater to people.
I just love hearing from you. This is just such amazing information. So, if anyone's watching this video and they are interested in investing, again, retiring or downsizing, just moving, because a lot of people, I've talked to quite a few people who they're actually moving to different areas where they have their children and grandchildren. So maybe even a second home. If that's something you're thinking about in the western suburbs in Naperville, Kristen is the expert. You can see that she has so much knowledge of the area and she is so well connected and she's just an amazing person. Kristen, thank you so much. I really appreciate you talking to us today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I look forward to you visiting soon.
Yes, let's do it. Have a great day.
You do the same. Thank you.